Hello, friends. I welcome you to the journey of self from conundrum to clarity. This is the episode 3, in which I shall share with you how the conundrum, while I was handed over the PIP, Performance Improvement Program tag, the impact it had on me, my lack of seeking support at that given point in time led me to a phase where I kind of, to some extent, resolved certain things, but to a very large extent and into a very long period of time, carried this conundrum with me. So, through this session, my intention is to share with you that when we go through workplace challenges, and most of us, we have this tendency that it might get resolved with time, with things, with situations, the face and consequences change, which is true to some extent. But unless we really invest and find support, the the idea that I would like to share with you here is the conundrum continues. So in my case, while I went through a lot, once I was on PIP, then I quit, stayed back at home, and then uh, pretended to work from home, purchasing a laptop while I was searching for jobs. After a period of 4 to 5 months, an extensive job search, I was able to land in a job. But the conundrum, this difficult phase, didn't really end it. While at that point in time, I thought that the moment I land myself another job, I will be out of it. Very little did I realize that my subconscious mind, the impact, the lack of self awareness, the correct approach, everything was at play. And this got cascaded to the new roles I took up. So, when after 5 months I landed myself in a new role, in a new job, in fact, I would say for the next 3 years, when I was into several organizations, I changed 2 organizations and into different roles, which included international travel. Yet, the impact of not really adapting the correct approach to conundrum made me a bit indecisive. So I will be on projects, very high stake projects, and which where I could have had contributed a lot, but I would stay fixated or in analysis paralysis, constantly thinking, trying to be that perfect being and making sure nothing goes wrong. My confidence, regardless of the role, title, and job, never went up because the inner work was incomplete. I would approach things from the lens of the past while I was unaware of it, but most of the time, often, I would look back and would decide or would think, okay, if I can be on PIP, which means something was wrong with me. And therefore, I should be extra cautious, extra careful. While I didn't really pay attention to what could have been a better approach had I took a break and understood why was I on a PIP. So I didn't do that, and that's the reason why this conundrum got carried over into the new job and the role. To a large extent, I also had no proper boundaries. This left me exhausted and stressed because it's not easy to be a people pleaser. It completely erodes your values, and if you're someone who value dignity a lot, being a people pleaser keeps you in a very different mode. And then I also was a risk aversion, meaning there were times where I could have had approach for better opportunities and projects. One such opportunity I also got from an IT giant firm where they were offering me a role of very senior operations lead. But I refused that because somewhere deep down in my head, I never believed I could lead that role. So I was not open to any risk because I thought if I take that up, I was so enmeshed in my self doubt that people will get to know. What will they get to know? That I once had a PIP tag. I'm not a good performer. My self worth was more decided by the office politics and the political people in the past organization than my current hard work. So I gave away my power. This eroded my leadership skills and made me an employee who was just needy and desperate to stay in a job, come what may. So even if it means I have to please and be part of a culture that was so unlikely of me, I would continue to do so. Friends, through this particular episode, and by sharing all that I'm sharing with you about my behavior and thought process, when I was going through a very tough phase in my career, corporate life, what I really want to bring your attention to is unless we seek support, not everything can be DIY, meaning do it yourself. My situation came to all these outcomes because I was kind of lost, just trying to do some trial and error and do it myself approaches. And instead of getting some solutions or a proper way out, in reality, I was actually getting more and more stuck and frustrated. So if you ever find yourself in such situations, think again. Are you committing the same mistake that I did? Stay tuned, and I'll meet you in the next episode.